What's going on YouTube? It is your boy B Cash World getting at you with a video that's gonna be a little different this time. I want to base this on a tier list system, a breakdown from categories ranging from S all the way into poop, essentially. D, whatever is just trash, right? So you have the best of the best down to trash tier. And so for shonen anime, I understand if you are here, you enjoy it like me. Let's put the brakes on for a sec. I just wanted to clarify that this is all anime and not just shonen. Let's go. So again, these ratings are going to be based on my own personal opinion. So if you don't agree with me, you can leave it down in the comments like, look, B Cash, your list is trash, dog. And I'm okay with it. I like constructive criticism. Let me know why my list is bad. But first, don't forget, like and subscribe if you like the content on the channel. I'm trying to keep a regular schedule here. My life is a little busy, but I definitely want to release more things pertaining to anime. If you have any suggestions on what I need to drop next, down in the comments, let me hear some noise. So let's get it. It looks like we're starting off with Seven Deadly Sins. Seven Deadly Sins is not a bad anime. Actually, I enjoyed it. There's a lot to like about it. The characters were pretty interesting. Their relationships, their chemistry that they had amongst one another was actually really cool to watch. There wasn't really much character development though. They all seemed pretty static. That could just be that there is not enough of Seven Deadly Sins to really see growth. We're learning more about like the main character, Meliodas, as we progress. But no, it still seems a little bit one-dimensional in a lot of ways. I do like Escanor. Yo, he's the one. Like, Escanor is tight. I think a lot of things about him, just like the whole anime flex vibe that you get from him is something I really enjoy about him. But I don't think it is the greatest anime in the world, but I also don't think it's bad. So I'm gonna put Seven Deadly Sins in the B tier category. Next up is Hunter x Hunter. Not gonna lie to you, Hunter x Hunter is a personal favorite of mine. I really love Togashi. Everything that he does with Hunter x Hunter, Yu Hakusho. I'm a little biased, but I feel like Hunter x Hunter had one of the best arcs that we've seen in anime. With the Chimera Ant arc, it just hands down one of the best things that we've seen in anime to this date. I am willing to throw down with you on arcs matchup. You let me know, but I take priority in ranking these on writing and creativity and flourishing that to make real world points, have a parallel with that. The Chimera Ant arc really just nails it in that regard. So the rest of Hunter x Hunter is definitely the icing on the cake. It's just really good. Gon is a great protagonist. He is imperfect, and that's what makes him awesome. And he's also not like super powerful. He doesn't even win all the fights that he has. But just through his sheer determination, his grit, his relationship with Kurapika and Leorio, and specifically his relationship with Killua. They're like the tightest friends in anime. This is a personal favorite of mine. If you haven't seen Hunter x Hunter, dive in. Please do yourself a favor, check it out. It's one of the greatest anime out there. And when I say Hunter x Hunter, I mean the 2011 adaptation. I didn't see the 1997, 1999. I think it was around there, 1999. I didn't see the earlier version, but the 2011 is definitely worth your time and one of the greatest anime you can see. So I'm putting it in S tier. Next up, we have Fullmetal Alchemist. Fullmetal Alchemist, I watched it a couple times. It was really hard to get into at first. And then I watched Brotherhood, and it changed everything. It changed my life. Not gonna lie. It's just so well done. The acting was really well done. The voice acting, the animation, the writing is just there's so much to like about Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood that I highly recommend that you check it out. I feel like every anime fan needs to see this one because it is a classic and one of the greatest that we've seen. So 2 animes in a row, y'all. I'm gonna put this one in the S tier because it's just one of the greatest. It's a GOAT. So there's not much else to say about it. So I'm gonna throw it up there. The Promised Neverland is a newer anime. It's definitely one of the more interesting ones. So it's not terribly long right now. There's 1 season with a season 2 coming out at some point, I think next year, 2021. It has one of the more interesting premises of the anime that are on my list here. I binged it in like 2 days. I was just that captivated by it. I don't want to spoil it. It's already short enough. It's a great anime. It has that like modern aesthetic too. So if you appreciate that, you'll definitely love it here. But I'm gonna throw The Promised Neverland in the A tier because it's just really, really good right now. Really looking forward to the next season. Then we have My Hero Academia, and My Hero Academia is one of the more popular animes out right now. It's basically quintessential shonen anime. You know, you have a main character with a heart of gold, who has grit, who has resolve, and basically it follows him in his journey to becoming the #1 hero. So I didn't think I would like My Hero Academia, and to be honest, I was kind of a contrarian at first. You know, I was just like, yo, everybody's talking about it, I ain't gonna watch it, right? It's one of those, right? But I actually sat down and gave it time and loved it. My Hero Academia is a great anime. I'm going to throw that in A tier. Next up, we have AOT, Attack on Titan. So, Attack on Titan is another fan favorite. It's one of the newer animes out. Attack on Titan's a darker anime. Attack on Titan isn't for the squeamish. If you can't take gore, or if you can't take heavier themes in your anime, this probably isn't the one for you. But if you're like me and you enjoy good writing and darker themes, or more mature themes specifically, Attack on Titan is going to be right up your alley. And its first 2 seasons are just phenomenal. I think it does fall off a little bit in the 3rd season, so I can't really put it in top tier. But I definitely think it's up there. It's getting up there. So we'll see what it looks like in the future here. But so far, Attack on Titan has just impressed me enough to go ahead and be in the A tier. So the next anime we have is Erased. I think that's Erased. I really enjoyed Erased. So this is going to be a divisive anime here because it doesn't always follow the manga. From what I hear, I haven't read the manga personally, but the community definitely it felt some type of way about this anime here. I watched this with my wife. We loved this anime. All the way up until the last episode. There were some weird issues with the last episode. I don't think it completely ruined it, but I think that it kind of took the wind from underneath its sail. I think Erased is definitely worth your time, and I'm gonna slide that one in the B tier. It fell off a little bit for me on that last episode. Otherwise, it'd be A for sure. Sword Art Online. Yeah, I was heavy into Sword Art Online. I was just binging it. I loved Sword Art Online. The concept of real stakes and living in a virtual reality video game was dope to me. Everything about this show just was really up my alley, and I was just feeling it from the jump. So, yeah, and then the second half of that first season happened, and it got weird. Weird, like, relationships with your siblings that are a little odd, sus, as the kids would call it, or whatever that might be. But Sword Art Online just got really weird really fast, and I feel like the author just completely got away from what made the show great. They missed the mark with this one. It's a little disappointing, so I'm gonna throw this one in the C tier. I just started watching Tokyo Ghoul recently, and Tokyo Ghoul is fire. It's one of those that really just nails the landing, right, with its pilot episode, that first episode, to really get you hooked. Tokyo Ghoul also gets a little dark too. And by a little dark, I mean a lot of dark. They actually have like this really, really hard to watch torture scene without getting into details, but it really is a series defining moment, at least from what I've seen so far. So it's definitely been an enjoyable ride. So I'm gonna throw that in A. Trigun. So we get into some of the little throwback little hits right here. So Trigun has an older look. So again, if you enjoy the anime with the modern aesthetics, you're probably not gonna be hooked by this one. But if you appreciate like that 90s grit, that vibe, that artistic style, that theme, Trigun's worth your time. It's not the greatest anime in the world. I ain't gonna hold you on that, but it's definitely worth your time to watch with Trigun. Vashta Stampede is a great character, and I love the Western themes in this. So I'm gonna throw Trigun into B, and we'll say check it out. If you come across it, you can find it on Hulu, Netflix, all that. So Netflix, I think, maybe not, but check it out. It's definitely worth your time. One Punch Man, I'm split on One Punch. I love the first season of One Punch. I think it definitely is the deconstruction of shonen anime. And it's a parody character, yes, but that doesn't mean that the writing isn't spectacular. I would recommend watching at least the first season of One Punch, but the second season, the quality of the animation really kind of takes a nosedive, and it just isn't as interesting. Definitely give the first season a watch. Keep watching if you enjoy it. Otherwise, I'm gonna throw One Punch in B. If it really, see, B or A. I'm gonna give it a B just because the second season was a little disappointing. First season A tier, second season B or C. So we're in the middle. Neon Genesis Evangelion. I use this term way too often, so I'm sorry, but this one changed my life. Neon Genesis Evangelion is not an anime for everyone. I wouldn't make this recommendation for everyone to watch because it is very depressing. It explores existential topics that a lot of anime fans aren't ready for, frankly. It's definitely a more mature anime. It's like One Punch, it's a deconstruction of shonen in a lot of ways. So in its time, mechs and giant robots and all that is just super popular, and it just takes that concept and really just runs that into a train, essentially. Really cool battles, but it's definitely it definitely subverts expectations in a good way. So and it has one of the best OPs that you can ever ask for. It's a bop. Neon Genesis Evangelion is a classic, and it'll really just have you reconsider a lot of things in your life after you watch it. So if you think you're ready for that kind of depth, give it a shot. But if you don't enjoy a shonen anime that doesn't really have a cliche main character who's like super strong, conquers all, has the mindset that's more akin to like a Goku or a resilient person, you're not gonna like this one. I'm not gonna lie to you. So it's definitely an acquired taste, but once you get it, you'll realize that it's one of the best anime ever made. So we're gonna slide that joint into S tier. Next up, we got Case Closed. I love Case Closed. I used to watch Case Closed as a kid, watching late night anime on Cartoon Network. I would just watch that in the same way that you would watch like a cartoon like Scooby-Doo, right? But this one actually was compelling. It had a lot of different it has a lot of elements that are like murder mystery-ish, where you want to guess like who's the killer, and it's really clever how they really connect the dots here, because the main character is basically a Sherlock Holmes. Case Closed is also one of the longest animes in existence. So if you're looking to go top to bottom, beginning to end, and binge this bad boy, just know you're looking at quite the endeavor here, because this is a very, very long anime. But Case Closed, definitely A tier for me. Naruto. So Naruto, I'm gonna catch heat on this. I'm gonna definitely catch heat on this, because Naruto to me, it just didn't hit the same vibes as like your Hunter x Hunters or the Fullmetals or even some of the newer anime like My Hero. So I can't rate it too high, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you, but It just doesn't hold a special place in my heart like these other anime, but I do recognize its influence on other anime too. So we're gonna move that joint to the B tier. I didn't watch Fairy Tail, y'all. Like, I tried to, just couldn't get into it. It's just not my vibe. Like, again, a little bit later in life, trying to watch these anime is tough. Maybe when I was a kid I'd enjoy this, but I don't have an opinion on this because I just didn't give it the time of day. So I'm gonna throw that and didn't watch. Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, the godfather of shonen anime. A lot of the anime on my list have been influenced by Dragon Ball Z. The legacy of Dragon Ball is S tier. Absolute S tier. It has one of the greatest legacy in not just anime itself, but just in entertainment media as a whole. Yeah, it really propelled the medium of anime to new heights, and I have a lot of appreciation for what Dragon Ball did, and then sequentially Dragon Ball Z. But with that said, I think the writing in Dragon Ball Z, namely, was bad. I think it's a poorly written anime. And it's hard to say that now because it was my favorite growing up. Absolutely. I would get home at 4:30 to watch it every day after school because that was my joint. I loved it. Toonami, thank you so much. It introduced me to anime. But Dragon Ball Z is not good, y'all. It's not good. And it pains me to say that. There's some absolute classic arcs. There's Frieza Saga. There's a Cell Saga. Just classics, but just wasn't the greatest, man. Like, and it's tough to say. Like, the side characters get swept underneath the carpet too often. So I can't do it. And I actually think that Dragon Ball was better written. Dragon Ball was a better written anime than Dragon Ball Z. But again, I have to respect the legacy. I'm gonna put in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z in the B tier. But clearly not the best. Next up, we got Inuyasha. Inuyasha was one of those late night jams I used to catch on Toonami too. It was definitely a starter kit for me for anime, and I enjoy it a lot. Inuyasha's not great. Inuyasha is not a great anime. It is very mediocre, and stands up to the rest of these anime. It's about average. I'd say it's average when looking at the rest of these anime on this list. I do still love Shishomaru, like that's my boy. You know, I'm gonna watch the sequel series of Inuyasha because I do love the characters in it. But as far as like just the overall package here, Inuyasha is a basic anime, y'all. I'm gonna throw it here. I ain't gonna hold you. So next up we have Berserk, and Berserk, boy, greatest manga of all time. Hands down, greatest manga of all time. And a lot of that has to do with Miura's artistic style, his supreme ability to write a compelling story, and the characters and the world building. Like, the list goes on and on and on. Berserk is phenomenal. It is a masterpiece of a manga. As far as the anime goes, which this image is based off of, the 2016 anime was whack. Super whack. Like, they skipped a bunch of chapters in the manga. It just takes its own liberties that just don't make any sense. The 3D like direction is just so weird to me. Like, I don't know. Like, Berserk 2016 was just an abomination. But Berserk 1997 is amazing. So it still looks great today. Again, it has like that 90s appeal to it. So if you don't like that, you probably won't like this. But Berserk explores a lot of topics that surround like existentialism, some philosophical beats, the human condition, in a lot of ways that like Neon Genesis Evangelion does. So if you like your anime to be more, to not be superficial, to really explore real world issues and concerns, Berserk's it, man. Watch Berserk 1997. You can find it on YouTube right now for free, so there's really no reason not to. It's about 27 28 episodes long, so it's not It's not terribly long. 1997, I got here S tier, just to clarify, right? If we're going on off this image, it's not even on this list because it's so bad. I don't have a category for how bad the 2016 version is. But 1997, as we'll go off on this, is definitely S tier and one of my favorites of all time. Now we got Bleach, y'all. Bleach, man. Bleach is, to me, is just like Inuyasha, y'all. Like, there's a lot to enjoy about it, but it's basic. It's basic as hell. It's a bit of a rip-off of Yu Hakusho. And not just like in a spiritual successor kind of way, but like almost a straight up rip-off or a knockoff of Yu Yu. So, again, with Yu Yu being one of my favorites of all time, I'm a little slighted by that. But I know a lot of people like Bleach, y'all. So I'm not gonna knock it too heavy like, but it's basic to me. It's too basic, y'all. Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. The memes, bro. If we're just basing this purely off memes, the GOAT. The image that they have here is actually from Phantom Blood, from the very, very, very first arc. So you have your first Jojo right there. If you don't know much about Jojo, Jojo actually follows the lineage of Jojo, like the name itself. So that's Jonathan there. So the next one is about his like grandchild, and then their child, and then thereon, and therefore. So it actually follows it in a way that keeps it fresh. So each arc of JoJo's actually basically starts anew. I really love that model. Like it keeps things fresh. It gives you a new cast of characters. Just so well written, y'all. So well written. I love JoJo. JoJo's not gonna appeal to everybody. I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. Like if you don't have an open mind, you're not gonna like this. You're gonna think things are a little sus. You're not gonna like, you know what I mean? Like if you can get past like their very, very effeminate actions in a lot of ways, and the things that they do that are a little more flamboyant, you'll have an S tier anime. Just bottom line. JoJo's is one of the best anime you can watch, period. And I'm talking about JoJo 2011 when I say that. So I love JoJo, y'all. It's amazing. So get at it. Next up, we got Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop, to me, so I understand that a lot of people have this as in their top 5 for best anime of all time. And Cowboy Bebop is definitely up there. It just never really got to that level for me personally. This is my list. This isn't saying the objective. None of these things are going to be objective in that regard, but Cowboy Bebop consistently lands in people's top 5. It was the greatest anime of all time. To me, I really, really enjoyed it, but it's not my S tier anime. It's A tier. It's a shorter anime, so you can get through it in I think it's about 28 to 30 episodes. So if you want to see what it's all about, highly, highly recommend watching it. It is definitely well worth it. Monster. Yo, if you like shonen anime and you like a lot of things that are like cliche to shonen anime, like I don't know if you're gonna like Monster. Monster is more of a it's more akin to like Death Note in a lot of ways. Yeah, it's closer to Death Note, which I'm not seeing on my list here, so shame. But Monster is a phenomenal anime. It's not a combat anime. You're not gonna see a lot of combat in this. It really is a story-driven anime and a narrative one, and this also explores darker themes. It explores the mind of one of the greatest anime antagonists of all time, and that's Johan. So Dr. Tenma is one of the Johan and Dr. Tenma. Their relationship, their dynamic is fantastic, and it's enough reason to watch it on its own. But Monster is S tier. Watch this. But if you need like thrilling battles every other episode, if you need anime tropes and all that stuff, like you're not gonna get that here. This is not shonen, y'all. This is not shonen at all. But it is definitely a more mature anime for older audiences, and I couldn't recommend Monster enough. It's definitely up there for me. And I'll go through one last one. It's just, I got a lot of, look at this list. Like, I couldn't possibly get through all these in a good amount of time. So I'm going to end it with my favorite anime of all time, that being Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho is, again, one of those 90s anime, but it's so great. Every character in this feels so real. They feel like you're real friends. Urameshi, Kuwabara, Koenma, Kurama, Hiei, Botan, like the whole cast is just so great. Like, I still feel like I know them on a personal level, and these characters don't exist, but that's how great the writing was. This is actually the same author as Hunter x Hunter, which everybody, Tagashi. So if you don't know that, now you know, but I'm sure you do if you're watching this video. But Yu Yu Hakusho, the chapter Black arc specifically, has some of the best writing that you can expect from an anime. And a lot of the times it's smart. It's fleshed out in a lot of ways. Like Kurama, for instance, like his battle scenes are always intense because he is strategically studying his opponents. And it's also a big influencer. It influenced a few anime that came after it. So Yu Yu Hakusho, I have as my #1 anime of all time. So anyways, here's my list. Let me know if you don't agree with a lot of these things. I definitely want to hear back from you. I'm sorry I couldn't get through all these anime here. There's a few that I'm looking at right now. Like, oh, I should have included that. But if you like this video, I can make another one that includes that. So be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I really would appreciate that. I appreciate you for watching this video and getting to this point. And that's all I got. Stay tuned for more.